welcome back. Welcome back to Purpose and Power Live. I am your host, Stephen Walker. Glad to be back with you. Glad you're joining in with us today. We're going to be talking about purpose and we're going to be talking about power when it comes to your purpose and your power. And I want you to go backwards in time with me today. We're going to take a look at it from the beginning to now. Oftentimes people ask me, Stephen, how did you become who you are today? How did you start walking in purpose and power? That's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to get right into it in just a second. I do want to tell you on the other side of the show, we're going to be bringing in our special guest from Podium RVA. Podium RVA, they're doing amazing things with kids. I want you to hear about it. I want you to participate. I want you to take notes, and I want you to contact them to see how you can help, and you'll find more about that on the other side. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So purpose and power, when did it start with me? I can honestly say it started when I was very, very young. I've always been one of those kids that was creative. And in the last episode, I talked about how once I got in trouble, the teacher sat me down at a table one day as punishment during lunch. And I remember being so mad at her that I looked at her so hard. She had put a blank piece of paper in front of me with a pencil. And I just stared at her. When I finally turned back and looked at the page, her face was on the page. I could see it. And I just drew what I saw, and that just kicked this gift in for art for me from that point on. And I just really began to work on that. But I noticed that on my path to purpose, on my path to discovering who I was, why I've been created, what are my giftings, my skills, my talents, that as I moved forward, there were always people who were there to help me, and there were people there to stop me. And we should never let anything negative stop us. But I want to take you back to my story, because maybe you have a similar story where you can look back and see teachers and coaches and people that were there to help you, but also there were people in those same positions that were there to not help you for different reasons. And I don't even hold it against them. You know why? Because without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. So, but I'm going to take you back. The first memory that I remember of someone in a position of authority who could help me define my purpose and my power was my kindergarten teacher. And I remember her approach to working with kids was so amazing. I was happy every day to come to school. I was excited. She made it fun. She made it creative. She helped us discover all kinds of things. And she was an amazing teacher. Her name was Mrs. Walters. And I went to school in Richmond, Virginia. My school was Baker Elementary. And I remember it. She was an amazing teacher, and I had fun. So she was a great one. And I was really popular because I've always loved having fun and helping out with things in the classroom, and so I was always connected with all the kids, and so everything was good. I was cool with everybody, so it was great. Kindergarten, you know what I'm saying? It was fun. When I got to first grade was way different than kindergarten. It was more structured. You had to sit still. You had assignments, and so as a creative person, that's the worst thing you can do for me is put me in confinement, to put me in a structure where I can't express myself. And so I found it hard to make the transition. So it may not be a shock to you, but it may be a shock to you, but in first grade, I actually failed the first grade because I could not pay attention long enough to get through the lessons and to do well. And from time to time, I had conflict with the teacher. And so that was a problem. So I failed the first grade. But she was the first teacher that I realized that she had rules and she didn't care how you felt about it. She just wanted you to do what she wanted you to do. And I wasn't used to that. I was used to being loved and coddled and and push forward in my creativity. So she stifled that, and I didn't like that, and I pushed back. So that teacher did that. So anyway, let's jump all the way ahead to the fifth grade. Now I'm the youngest of three. My brother is 2 years older than me. My sister is 1 year older than me, and then I actually she was born September 10th. I was born September 6th. So every year for 4 days we're the same age. It's pretty amazing. So anyway, just in case you are a only child, you may not understand this concept. But when you have older brothers and older sisters that are going to school before you, they kind of set the pace for your family and your family's name. And my brother was reckless. My brother was a problem child. My brother had issues. Every teacher knew his name. He had a bad reputation. He was 2 years ahead of me. So by the time I got to the fifth grade, he had already gone through all of the teachers in our school. They knew who he was. And when I came up, they kind of looked at me like I was him. And I had to really let them know I'm a totally different kid. Right. And there was one teacher and the people in the story that caused problems for me, I'm not going to say their name out of respect, but my math teacher, She had conflict with my brother the whole year, and that was something that was a challenge. And so when I got to her class, it was my goal. Now, people, I want to hear you. This is a child. I'm in fifth grade, and I'm already stressed out because this is a whole nother level of grade for me. And I want to impress this teacher that my brother had caused problems for. And so I come in with this huge weight on me of I want to be liked by this teacher. I mean, what student really doesn't want to be liked by the teacher? So I come in, and in the first week, this is what happened. This teacher was known for giving candy to students that did well. And I said, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do so well, she's going to be awarding me candy left and right. That was my goal. So it motivated me. Get to her class, sit down. She gives us an assignment. And the assignment, the first thing she said is read everything on the page and then begin doing what it says. And it was one of those tests that, and I'm not going to jump ahead, but I'm going to tell you, it's one of those tests that reveals something about the student without the student even understanding it. So what happened was I got the test. I'm reading the lines and I'm going down. There's like 25 different things that it's telling you to do. Like go write on the board, write your name on the board, come back, ball up a piece of paper, go put it in the trash, come back. And there's like things you had to do. And there's a whole list of things. So as I'm reading down, other students started jumping up and writing their names on the board and throwing stuff in the trash. And I was like, okay, they're getting ahead of me. I'm going to miss my opportunity to get candy. So, hey, Tanya, thanks for joining in. And so I was excited and I said, you know what? I'm not going to miss this opportunity. Again, it's showing you my personality. I'm very competitive. So I jump up and I start writing on the board and I start doing everything like everybody else. At the end, I sit down, everybody sits down. When it's over, she starts walking around the classroom and she calls me up. Out of all the kids, like 20 kids in the classroom, she calls me up in front of the class. And she brings me up in front of her and she turns me around to the students. Mind you, these are kids that a lot of them I'm just meeting for the first time. And I'm excited because, you know, this is an honor. She's actually pulling me up to the front of the class. And I just know I'm about to get a bunch of candy. She puts her hands on my shoulder and she said, class, can I have your attention? Can I have your attention? She says, Stephen is an example of a student that does not pay attention. And she ripped me apart. She ripped me apart for the next 30 minutes. She ripped me apart and it devastated me. It devastated me because it made me feel like she didn't care about me. She cared about making a point. And her point was really about not me being my brother. She wanted to make sure that she let me know that she's the teacher and I'm the student. Out of everybody that she could have pulled up in front of the class, she pulled me. And why did she single me out? Now this story, some of you may have had the same exact experience. Some of you may be wondering, why do teachers do that? I wondered that myself. And I was disappointed in her as an adult. I was disappointed in her that she would do that to me in front of the class, that she judged me before she even got to know me. Like I said, we had just started school. I was a new student in her classroom. But you will find on your path to purpose, there will be people who will try to derail you by the things they say and by the things they do. But you have to push on. You have to keep pushing on. Why? Because your teachers and your coaches and those who are supposed to guide you, if they don't guide you, you have to understand that their failure is not your fault. Let me say that again. Their failure is not your fault. And so as a kid, growing up and watching adults constantly making mistakes, and they're supposed to be not only teaching and protecting and guiding students, future leaders and future citizens of America and of the world, and they're getting paid for it, by the way, oftentimes because they don't even know their purpose, because they've been jaded from their past, because they have their own issues, oftentimes they fail you. And so I want to encourage you today, if you had some childhood experiences where that happened, understand what doesn't kill you should make you stronger. It should make you think about your life in terms of, you know what, I have overcome this thing. This thing came into my life, but it came to pass. It didn't come to stay because I'm not dealing with it anymore. It's in my past. Okay. So those are the things you got to look at when you're on your path to purpose, even at a young age, because those, if you don't really internalize and deal with those issues that you and those problems you experience from your past, you will allow that to affect your present, and your future. So today, I want to start digging down and getting to the root of some of the things that have stopped you from your purpose and stopped you from walking in power. Now, the purpose part is important. Why? Because it is the very meaning for which you have life. It's the thing that defines who you are. It is the thing that should be driving you each day into your day. And oftentimes, a lot of us, we wake up and we don't have a purpose. We have things, you might have children, or you might have pets. You're a pet owner. You have children. You're a parent. Maybe you're married. You have a husband or a wife. Maybe you have a job, and so you are an employee, or maybe you're a manager, or maybe you're a business owner, right? So those are titles that should define who you are, but oftentimes that's not who you are. Those are just things that, if you add them all together, it's a part of your entire purpose, right? And so I want you to see kind of my journey and how things that happened to me challenged me, but I didn't let them crush me. I let them motivate me, and it brought out some qualities in me that later on helped me out. And so I want to talk to you about what happened when I got to I won't even talk about middle school. Let's talk. I'm gonna go right to high school. So I remember when I got to high school. High school always is, you're nervous. You're a freshman. You don't know what's going on and everything. But mind you, again, I told you that my brother he was ahead of me, and then my sister was ahead of me. So when I got to high school, my family already had kind of a set up reputation, and it wasn't that good because of my brother. There was issues he had there. The good thing about him, I have to say, is he was smart. He is absolutely intelligent. As I said, he kept going up, matriculating through all the grades. So that's great. He had his challenges. And I think because people didn't help him deal with himself, the things he was thinking in his mind, that he wasn't able to do the best that he could do either. But anyway, so when I got to high school, I decided that I wanted to get into sports. I've always been athletic. I'm the kind of guy that, I was a guy that was, jumping off of ramps and on a skateboard, and, I was a daredevil. I grew up, being really physical and playing boy sports, right? So, I was like, what, I'll go ahead. I think I'm gonna join, the track team. And so I here in Richmond, Virginia, is Henrico High School, class of '89, by the way. So shout out to class of '89, or Henrico, all the Warriors. But anyway, so got to Henrico High School and just figured I'm going to make a reputation for myself, and I'm gonna join the track team. I'm a pretty fast runner. And when we did the tryouts, I remember, if you guys have ever been in sports, one of the most nervous times is when you first get to a team and you got to help the coaches see your value so that you can gain a position on the team that will allow you to really excel. And so I was trying to find my place on the team. So we all we picked the events that we wanted to run in and the things we wanted to do, and so I said, what, I'll run the 100-yard dash. I'm gonna run the 100-yard dash. It's one thing I'm gonna do because I'm pretty fast. And I remember, like, maybe 6 of us lined up. The gun went off, and I just, everybody started running. And I remember when I crossed the finish line, I wasn't first, I wasn't last, I was dead even with 6 other guys. And I said to myself, there is no way I am running an entire season with people who are my exact speed. That's not going to happen. Because right at the line, we'll be fighting each time right at the line. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I said, okay, I'm not going to do that. So I was looking around for the other things I wanted to do. And I saw one guy doing pole vaulting. So for those of you who don't know what pole vaulting is, that's when you run down a small little slither of track and you have this long pole and you jam it into this pit and you lean back and bend it and you let it propel you through the air. And I watched this guy do that, and I started thinking, he's the only guy doing this because everybody else is afraid. Well, one thing I don't have is fear. So I said, you know what? I'm crazy enough. I'll do it. And this is when the story got good. The kid that was actually the only one doing pole vaulting, his nickname was KK. So KK, if you're watching, what's up? Don't know what you're doing, but you have been an inspiration to me. So you did your thing, and I appreciate it. So KK was awesome, but let's talk about the coach. Now, KK was so awesome, he went all state. I mean, he was breaking records and doing his thing. So I remember telling the coach, I'm not going to say the coach's name, class of '89, y'all know who I'm talking about. So anyway, I told him I want a pole vault. I said, because nobody else is pole vaulting, I want a pole vault. He was like, okay. This is what he said. Well, go grab yourself a stick. So I'm like, okay. And there was a bunch of them laying on the ground. I went and grabbed one. I don't know if you've ever seen this happen, But when I finally got the technique down to run down the track and be able to get it into the pit and bend back, something would happen to me that I've never seen before. What would happen is my pole would not bend all the way. And so I had to fight to get over the bar every time. It looked crazy because I had to put so much effort behind it. And the whole season I struggled with my technique to try to get that pole to bend. Now let me tell you where the failure came in. Because this coach was so focused on the kid that was going all state and didn't pay hardly any attention to me to help me to get my technique down. I had to watch KK to try to figure things out. Because he did that, he allowed me to not be equipped to do what I wanted to do. What does that mean? When he said, go grab a pole, what he should have said is, Stephen, let me explain to you how pole vaulting works. As the track coach, I have expertise in this area. And because you're one of my kids on my team, I want to help you be the best you can be as your coach. That's not what he said. He said, go grab a stick. He should have said that. And he should have said, Stephen, there's one crucially important thing a pole vaulter must know. They must know their body weight. Do you know why they need to know their body weight? Because each one of those sticks on the ground only fit a certain body weight. Now, at the time, I was 150 pounds. I grabbed a pole that was like for a 180-pound person, which means I didn't have enough body weight to bend the pole to cause me to get over the bar. That was an utter failure of that coach. Again, another adult who was being paid to do a job to help me on my path to purpose that, for whatever reason, did not do his job. I didn't have a great season. I fell out of love with track. I ended up joining the football team. But what would have happened if I had a coach who was actually a real coach, a coach who paid attention to his students, a coach that cared enough to educate the person standing in front of them that knows nothing about the thing that you know about? The value of having a coach is so important. It's why I became a business coach. Because in my life, people had failed me time and time again who had position, power, title, and were being paid to help me, but they didn't do their job. Now, am I bitter? No. It's better to be, like I said, don't be bitter, be better. I'm able to look back and see, because of him doing that, he made me stronger and he made me become, now this is a big word, resourceful. From that point on, I started saying, if I'm going to do something, I am going to find out what I need. Even when my coaches tell me things, I'm going to find out what I need. And it was something that year after year, I decided that, I'm going to work on. I'm going to start doing this. So that brings me to football. Here again, I'm young. I'm not a senior, but guess what? I made varsity. I'm on a team. I'm on a team with big guys. And they were doing great. And these guys, I felt like I would never play because I was a wide receiver. I was a cornerback. I'm like, you know what? They may never give me time. And so I decided that what I'm going to do is join the team. And look what happened to my personality. I'm going to join the team with no expectations to ever play. And that will keep me safe from being disappointed. Now, I went to every practice because you had to. I did everything I had to do to stay on the team because, I wanted the jacket. I wanted the letter. I wanted the fame. I wanted to be able to say I'm with the football team. I'm with the Henrico Warriors football team. I wanted my green and gold. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. And I got it. And I was on the team and I was there for every game. I was there for every scrimmage. I was there on the team. But guess what happened? Let me tell you what happened. One day we were playing the game. I can't even remember what team we were playing. And I'm doing my normal stuff. I'm holding my collar like this and cheering on the team. And it's kind of cold outside. And so I'm being there to support my teammates like I'm supposed to do. Life is good. Life is good. I don't have no responsibilities for the team. I'm on the team. I got the fame. It's all good. We're great. Well, this night, coach yells out my name, Stephen. I turn and I look. He's like, come here. I'm like, okay. So I walk over to him. He's like, all right, you're going in. I said, I'm what? Excuse me? I'm what? He's like, yeah, you're going in. He says, put on your helmet. I put on my helmet. He sends me into the game. And people, when I tell you that I didn't know nothing about the game of football at all, I ain't know nothing about the game of football. Even though I went through all the practices, even though I was there every time, when I hit that field and started walking across that field, I completely forgot everything. Why? Because I was not prepared. I was not prepared because my past had got me to a place where I started looking at things as, you know what, it doesn't really matter because I don't really have to try as hard because you know what, it doesn't matter. Adults say it doesn't matter. I say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They put me in the game, got in the huddle. At least I knew how to get in the huddle. Got in the huddle. They called the play. I didn't even know what the play was. I didn't know what they were saying. When I came out the huddle, I knew where to line up on the field, and I got in my position. Do you know once he said hike, the cornerback that was facing me on the opposing team took me and threw me to the ground. And then when I looked up, my whole team was running over me. I got off the ground. I was like, what in the world? And I looked at my coach. I was like, take me out, coach. Take me out. He said, no, you got to stay in. One more play. You got to stay in. I don't know if you ever felt like you've been betrayed by a total stranger, but I felt at that moment the coach should have saw that I was hurt and took me out the game. But he was like, nope, you got to stay in the game. I get back in the huddle, and guess what? This time they called the exact same play. And I'm like, I got it now. They're running a sweep to my side. And I know exactly what I'm going to do to this cornerback. I grabbed him. I stood him up. He stood me up. And guess what my team did? They swept to my side and ran right over me again. Yeah. They called me out of the game, sat on the bench. And guess what? The coaches never said nothing to me. They never corrected me. They never asked me what happened. They never told me what I should have did wrong or did different. From that point on, it was almost as if it didn't matter. And again, it hit me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And time again in your life, you're going to see people who will put you in places and positions that will allow you to make mistakes and don't even help you understand what's going on. That is not the road to purpose. That's the road to destruction. If you see someone that needs your help, you should help them. If you have knowledge that can help other people, you should help other people. It's a part of what we do just as human beings. Just as human beings. And I think when you have people who are titled coach, teacher, mentor, parent, older brother, older sister, when you have people who are older than you that should be wiser than you, that fail you every time, it can make you feel like no one is there to help you in your life. And it really made me feel like I was alone. It made me feel like school didn't matter, nothing mattered, and nothing was really working out for me. And I felt like, when it comes down to finding your purpose, that's a solitary thing. You have to desire to find your purpose without anybody helping you point the direction. Why? Because it's in the moment that you said, you know what, my life as it is needs to change. I was a little kid. I was started, doing drugs, drinking alcohol. I was doing bad things because I was getting discouraged and I was on this path. And every now and then I would have an adult that would step into my life that would try to help me. There was one adult who did that. His name was Steve Hickson. I'll never forget. I was in high school and I was staying away from everybody. I was on my own, doing my own thing. And one day he came up to me. He said, Steven, one of the kids says that you can draw. They say that you can draw. And I was like, what about it? I didn't trust him because here he is an adult. He's not a teacher, but yet every time I come in the gym, at certain times, he's around all the other kids. And I thought he was like an undercover cop or something. So I kind of stayed away from him. But he came to me that day and he was like, you can draw and I need a logo. I need you to design a logo. And I was like, okay. And he says, and I'll pay you. Now that got my attention. Now, see, that's the thing about purpose. On the path to purpose, you'll have people who will see your potential and will invest in you. And that balances out those who aren't doing a good job. Those who have gotten discouraged in their positions of power and their money and their income, and they've kind of just leveled out and they don't really do a good job anymore themselves because they lost their passion, their purpose. But he came into my life and he was one of the most pivotal people in my life. And actually, I just touched bases with him this year for the first time in like 20, 25 years, which is amazing. And he's still doing a good job. He's working with youth. He's still working with youth. His heart is there. And the reason why I'm bringing up this story is because in your own life, whether you are an employee, whether you're a business owner, you may be finding yourself struggling. You may feel like there are people around you who are failing you. You might feel like you're failing people. You know what? That's a human thing. It's okay. All you need is a little bit of knowledge because the reality is you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And that's why you need coaching. That's why you need someone like myself or someone that's a mentor or a coach or a group of other business people that can help kind of guide you on that path. And if you're not in business, if you're just saying, I'm trying to just struggle to live, guess what? You just need community. You need to be in a community of like-minded people who are going somewhere, people who are looking at life through a different lens, people that can help you see some of the faulty thinking that you might have in your own head, that will help you push past that. Actually, you need people who will help you define what your gifts and your talents are. Why? Because, like I say, the path to purpose is always lined up with your skills and talents. Those are roadmaps to purpose. The things that you can do naturally that you do and you enjoy, that's a sign on the road to purpose. And that's what I want you to think about today. Despite what you've been through, I've been through abuse in my life. I've been through all kind of violence and drug addiction, alcohol addiction, death, pain, destruction, all in my life, in my past, when I was young. Even before I became 12 years old, even before I got around 12 or 13, all that had already happened to me. Okay, so it was a really rough, 12 years for me. But after meeting Steve Hickson, I started thinking there are people out here who are doing a good job, people who are really trying to teach. And even if your manager or your boss is failing you, you can still be successful by having a good attitude about it. You can still do a good job. Why? Because if you do good, you'll get good. And maybe you're only there for just a time. Some people are in your life for a season, and some people are in your life just for a reason, right? So you got to kind of discern, where you are. Maybe the job you're in is just a job. It's not your life, and you're only going to be there for a minute, and you're going to leave and find where your passion is, and you're going to begin walking in purpose. Maybe that is where you're going to be for a while, and you're like, okay, I'm going to change my attitude. I'm going to return back to work with a better attitude, and maybe just see how I can use my gifts in a way to really do a better job. And look, and be honest with yourself, right? If there's things you don't know, start asking questions. Your manager is there to manage. Okay, manage. So learn how to go to them and just be honest. Hey, Bob, I want to talk to you. These are some of the things that I do good and I see it, but these are some of the challenges I have. What do you suggest? What would you do? What are some of the things the other people are doing to do better? Because this year, I want to do better than I've ever done before. I want to make you proud of me, and I want to make this company proud of me. I want to be a contributor to this environment in a way I've never been before. I'm going through this whole life transformation, and I'm just asking you to partner with me on that. I want you to help me. Now, imagine saying that to your boss or the business owner. What would they think? What would you think if you were the boss or the business owner and somebody came, one of your employees came to you and said that to you? You would be amazed. You would be shocked that they are taking that mindset to help you achieve your goals as a manager or business owner. So either side of the equation, no matter who you are, you can begin making changes to start walking in purpose and being intentional about the things you are doing. And not only that, but you can look back at those who need your help. Maybe there's some young people. Maybe there's some elementary, middle school, high school age, or college age students that need your help, your input, your coaching, your guidance, your mentorship. And maybe by giving to them, maybe helping them in subjects where they struggle, or learning how skills that can help them be better, like studying or reading or math. When you give to them, maybe that will come back to you in a blessing. So I want to encourage you. Look, today, it's not just about us. It's about how we impact the lives of the people around us. Now, if you're going to walk in purpose and get power, that's a great first step, is to fix your attitude, to fix your heart, to let go of weights, to see who's around you that you can help, and then reach out to help them. Look, on the other side, we're going to find somebody just like the person I'm talking about. Her name is Vicki. And Vicki is the executive director of a program called Podium RBA. And she's helping kids do exactly what I'm telling you. Learn what they need to learn to be better and to be contributors in society. She'll be right here on the other side. We'll see you in just a second. And I guess we won't. All right. So, that happens. I don't know why we didn't go to break. I thought the commercial was about to come up, but maybe not. So I'm going to just keep on going. Okay. So we'll get to Vicki when we're able to bring her up. But I do want to continue in talking about power, because we talked about purpose the whole first half. But let's talk about power. Power is something you have or something you give away. Now, every person has power over themselves. You have willpower, a power to control yourself. And that's something that you have to start looking at. Are you really using all of your power to help you become the best you can be, right? Because you can be the type of person who sits on the couch with the remote control, watching Netflix, and guess what? 4 hours pass and you're still sitting there. And you have work to do. You got things you have to get done. Willpower allows you to take to capture your own will to say, you know what, I am not sitting here another second. I'm getting up and I'm getting busy. Why? Because if I don't, it's going to hurt me even more. Now, power can be taken from you. Why? Because if you don't do what you should do, you're going to give your power to other people. What do I mean by that? All right, let's talk about it. So when I decided that I was going to be a contributor, that gave me power to have some control over my environment. Now, if I decide that I'm not going to contribute as an employee, for example, I'm just going to come and I'm just going to show up, and I'm just going to be who I am, and it doesn't matter. My boss, I guarantee you, will let me know that that is not acceptable, and they're going to take some of that power back. I think I have. Why? Because they pay me. They pay me for my life and my time. And if I'm in their building and I'm working for their company and they're paying me their money, they want me to work and use my power to do my job. And if I'm not doing that, and if I have a problem, they'll let me go and give me all the power I want to walk out the door. You don't want that. What you want to do is correct your attitudes, and you want to be able to do what you need to do to be able to help people see you in the right light, changing your attitude and doing a good job. So I think maybe our guest is showing up. Hopefully she has, and we're going to bring her up. And at any time, and I'm just talking to my guy in the back. He's awesome. His name is Mark. He's doing a great job. You can just go ahead and cut to the commercial when you're ready, and we'll be back as soon as when you finish. I don't know because I'm not backstage. I don't know what's going on, but still, I'm gonna continue talking. Cut across me. Feel free to cut across me anytime if you want to bring her up. I mean, go to commercial and then bring her up on the other side. All right. So this is what I want to tell you about power. And you see this happen all the time in the world. There are people who you never heard of them before, and all of a sudden they rise to power. Entertainers, people in sports, people in positions of government. These people came from nowhere, and all of a sudden, bam, they're in front of everybody, and everybody knows their name. Why did that happen? It was because people who had power gave them a little bit of their power and started promoting them and push them up. If people push you up, they can pull you down, and that's the danger of that. That's the danger of that. And some of you know that. You've seen there's been times maybe in your life or in places you worked or schools you went to that people who seemed like they had power, all of a sudden they were fired, they were gone, they were out of there. And in this day and time, there's a cancel culture, right? There's this whole cancel culture, and you got to be careful that you don't get caught up in that. So part of it is you looking at your life and going, you know what? I need to determine where my barriers are. Like, what am I going to do? What I'm not going to do, and then take a stand right there. Because if you operate in truth with yourself, you can operate in truth with everyone else, right? The only one you can't lie to and you shouldn't lie to is yourself. Why? That's what the term self-deceive comes from, right? Self-deceive. So I want you to realize that you have the power to change your life, but you have to change your choices. You have to change the way that you're thinking. You know, the Bible says that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And what does that mean? Thinketh in his heart. I thought your brain was in your head. So what does that mean? What that means is, you know, you can think a thought and that thought be something that's random and you don't really care and you can just change your mind. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to stand on that. If somebody pushes back against you, you're changing your mind. You're joining in with them because you're being intimidated. You're not really going to stand on that. That's not a hill you're willing to die on. But if it's something that you thought about that you received and said, you know what, that is truth for me. I believe in that. And I'm going to stand on that. And you put that into your heart, no one can take that from you. Why? Because you really believe this is true. And it doesn't matter what nobody says, that's your belief and nobody can change it. It is that kind of thinking that you put into your head, you receive into your heart, and you have a belief on that you will have faith for. See, you will have faith for. Faith is believing the things you can't see. It becomes the evidence of the things you don't see, right? It's the things that you say, you know what, I believe that this is going to happen. Even though it hasn't happened, I believe it's going to happen. And you stand on that, right? That's faith. That's believing in the things you can't see. It becomes a hope for the thing that you haven't seen yet that is going to happen. So you got to begin start thinking about from a purpose standpoint and a power standpoint. What is it that I really want in life? Who do I really want to be? How do I want to impact the world around me? Why am I here? And if you can begin walking through those steps of answering those questions, you start realizing what power is. You've had power all along. Like if you look at superheroes like Superman, the Incredible Hulk, you know, like Thor, you look at these superheroes, right? I'm not going to say Batman because Batman's not a real hero. So he's just a man that's rich, kind of like Iron Man, right? So we're not going to talk about him. But the ones that is super strong with all this power, imagine somebody coming up to them and just slap them in the face. It's not going to happen. Why? Because they're super powerful. They have power. When you have power, there's things that you can prevent. And the first thing that you're going to have to prevent and the first thing you're going to have to fight against is yourself. Yeah, the person in the mirror. Like Michael Jackson used to say, it's the man in the mirror. You're gonna have to deal with you. I had to deal with me. Okay. And one thing that you have to realize is that when you look in the mirror, you're looking at everything you need to change your life. And something happened one day to me about changing the way I'm thinking. I went into this library, and I don't know why it happened on this day, but this is what happened. I went into this library, and when I walked in, you know how they have two floors, and the books are stacked up on the first floor. They're stacked up on the second floor. They go all the way down, and they come together in the back of the room. So I walked into the library, and when I looked up, I looked around, and I saw all the thousands of books, and I realized how much knowledge was around me. It was almost like they were a treasure. And because I didn't really go to libraries a lot, it kind of shocked me to think all of this knowledge is right here in this one room. If I had this knowledge in my head, it could empower me. I have a saying that people say knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge is powerful, which means this whole time that I've been talking like 37 minutes. All right. This whole time I've been talking, there are people who are listening to me that's getting it. This stuff is clicking with you. You are saying to yourself, you know what? I never thought of that. You know what? That's true. You're catching on and you're getting it. That means your life can change. And if you haven't gotten there yet, the thing that you have to realize is that when people give you instructions, they're meant to help you, not hurt you. So whether you agree with me or not, what I'm telling you is my truth. It is my reality. I've walked this out. I didn't read this in a book. All right. This whole thing that I'm telling you about is my life. And these things are true. And it's a part of human nature too. These are the things that we must do in order to learn how to be the best self that we can be. Now, I'm a Christian. I believe God made all of us. God made us in his image and after his likeness, right? So if we're made in God's image and after his likeness, that means we can be like God. What does that mean? That means he's a creator. He created all things. That means you can create some stuff. You don't believe me? Let me put some glue in front of you with some paper and some scissors. I bet I can show you how to make some stuff really quick. You're a creator. You have an ability to think. You have an intellect to be able to do things that you don't even know you can do. I remember one guy I met. He was a graphic designer. He was designing the computer. He was a graphic designer. And at that time, I had written probably about 40 poems. And I remember we became friends. And one day we were talking, and I told him that I write poetry and I do a lot of creative stuff. And so he said, I've always wanted to write poetry. Listen to the story. This is about purpose. He says, I've always wanted to write poetry. I said, well, anybody can write poetry. He's like, oh no, not me. I'm a graphic designer. I said, man, look, anyone that has a language can use that language to write poetry. Poetry is simply an expression of how you feel inside and how you perceive the world around you. It is you writing on paper your reality, right? It is you expressing to others what it is that you're trying to convey in a way that they can read it for themselves and understand it. And when you speak it, it becomes even more powerful. And so I remember telling him that you can write poetry. And so what happened to me was he said, well, you know what? I want to write poetry. I want to write poetry. And I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I started training him and teaching him how to write poetry. And what happened was I couldn't believe it. This gift came pouring out of him. He's already was an amazing artist. I mean, he's just amazing, talented dude. But he started writing poetry. And so in helping him, it helped me because he decided, I was a freehand artist. I could draw anything I could see, but I never really used computers. And because he became my friend, he decided he was going to teach me how to use the computer to put my art into computer. And he trained me. I trained him how to write poetry. He trained me how to use a computer. This is the value of having teachers that care about the people in front of them. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. And you never know how the things that you help people do, how will it impact their life. And this is what happened. His poetry got so good that he actually wrote poems that people saw, music artists saw his poems and turned them into actual songs. That's how good he got. Blew my mind. Okay, was I a little envious? Yeah, because that didn't happen to me. But guess what? I still was happy for him because I was his teacher. I helped him do it. And he was my buddy. His name is Wayne. And he showed me how to use the computer for graphic design. And he taught me. He spent hours teaching me. I mean, it was amazing. It's like what people go to college for and what they pay for. It was like he was my mentor, my art mentor. And he showed me how to do it. And guess what? To this day, I would not be using the computer for graphics if I had never met Wayne and never sat down and allowed him to teach me, and if he didn't have a heart to teach, I wouldn't have picked that up. In my company, Manifest Media, that's what we do. We design logos, corporate identity packages, websites. We do all of that. And I can trace that all the way back to that day where Wayne said, man, I would like to write poetry. And he was willing to teach me what he knew. The exchange of knowledge and the application of knowledge is powerful. And as a community, we can come together and we can make it happen. We can make it happen together because we care about each other. And I always talk about this community. The word community is literally two words: common unity. And when you have community, you care about the people that's in your surroundings and those people that you can help. And if somebody needs help and you can't help them, guess what? You go find somebody that can help them. That's what we have to do. That's the change that we have to do. And on that path to helping others, you find your purpose. What? What'd I say? What did you say? That's right. Write it down. On the path to helping others, you will find your purpose. Why? Because your gifts will come out. The things that you can do will come out. The things that you really care about in your core will come out. And you will realize, man, I loved helping them do X or Y or Z. Man, today was a great day. I did this and I did that. And you realize I would do that for free. I mean, I really enjoyed that. And so I just want you guys to know that, look, here on this network, we care about you and we want to empower you. And we got more to say on the other side, but we'll be right back.
The Black Business Expo is changing my life. This year, they are giving away laptops and even $5,000 in cash to students just like me. I'm Alexis, and I want to go to college to fulfill my dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Help the Black Business Expo going to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com and also becoming a vendor, a sponsor, or donating.
What's going on? Hey. And we're back. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. Thank you so much. All right, Jonathan, what's up? What's up, cuz? Thanks for watching the show. Wow. We've had our challenges today, people, but you know what? It's all good. I say it's all gravy. You know why? Because it's challenges that help you realize that you can overcome things. Without challenges, you would never know who you really are, right? So Mark's doing a great job. I'm trying my best to give you guys information that can help change your life. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes too. It's no big deal. But anyway, and we're also dealing with technology. You never know how this stuff's going to work, from time to time. But anyway, I'm glad that you're watching the show today. In the last remaining minutes, I do want to talk about the people that are around you, your support system. Now, one measure of who you are is how people perceive you. And so if you really want to do an assessment, ask the people around you, what do you think about me? And make sure you ask the right people, okay? Don't ask people who got problems with you, okay? Don't ask nobody that wants something from you, okay? Because they're not going to give you the right answer. Ask the people who you know cares about you. And then ask some of the ones who've been challenging you the whole time, teachers that have challenged you, coaches that have challenged you. Ask them, what do you think about me? And then ask them this question. What do you think I could change to be better? What can I change to be better? And you'll be shocked and surprised the answers you get. But the most important thing is you have to do what they say. It's not enough to ask them what to do. You have to do what they say. Remember when I said knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge is powerful. So I think our guest is here, and Mark, if she's here, you can bring her up. Love to bring Vicky on. There she is, Vicky. Vicky, hey, how's it going?
Good. How's it going with you, Stephen?
Woo, you know what, Vicky, we fighting through it, aren't we? We're trying to make it work.
I don't know what's going on with my computer because I was backstage listening to your fantastic podcast this whole time, but apparently I was a ghost in that backstage process.
It don't even matter.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's not even your fault. It's not even your fault. It came to challenge me to make me grow, to be honest with you. And I'm growing. I'm actually sweating up here in the sweater. But I'm just telling you, look, I'm glad that you're on the show. Vicky is fastly becoming one of my best friends in the world. She has such an awesome heart for people. But Vicky, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you do and who you are.
Well, hey, everybody. My name is Vicky Royan, and I am the executive director for Podium RVA. We do writing, communication, leadership programs for youth ages 10 through 19, so middle school, high school, recent graduates. So we work on, positive personal expression, critical thinking, academic writing, professional development, all the things, Stephen.
Just for kids? I mean, can adults join in? I mean, that sounds awesome.
Well, as mentors for our young folks, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So now tell me, how did Podium RVA get started, and why does it exist?
So Podium RVA started in 2008. There was they did a survey of all the public high schools here in Richmond City, found that they didn't have, newspapers, literary journals, things like that, outlets beyond just your regular kind of classrooms setting, for our young folks to, share their stories, get their perspectives out there. And so Podium said, you know what, we're going to make it happen. And so now Podium exists. We are a weekly writing program that meets after school over the summer. We meet year round because writing never stops. We also do publications, so annual journals, zines, and then showcases like open mics.
Wow, that's amazing. Sadia says she loves what you're doing with the kids in Richmond, Virginia. Great job on that. But look, I do want to talk about the kids. I had an opportunity to go to your website. Of course, I know a little bit about you guys, and I see they're inner city kids, they're minority kids that are part of the program. So a lot of the schools that you have your program in are in inner city communities. Is that correct?
Yes. Actually, right now, over 90% of the young folks that we serve live in Richmond City.
Okay, so Purpose Empower Nation, our viewers, we call it the Purpose Empower Nation. Look, if you've ever wondered what program is helping our kids, we got to help educate our kids. If you felt like yourself, like, man, if I could do something to help these kids out here, they just need help. You're looking at her. Vicky is the woman you need to contact at podiumrva.org. That's the website you need to go to. And even Maxine's like, yes, great job. And Maxine is the educator. Look, thanks for being on the show. Look, people out here want to have your back, Vicky. So I want you to tell people, what happens? How did they get involved? What are the things that happen when they get involved?
Okay, well, there's so many different ways that you can get involved. I mean, whether it's, mentoring a young person, our young folks, writing, you need writing and communication no matter what job, no matter what field you go into. So if, helping young folks determine their professional development, their pathways to success on graduation is something you're interested in, that is something we are always looking for is mentors for our teens. In fact, we have a teen professional conference coming up this August. And so we'll be reaching out to folks really soon, to work on that.
Well, look, you're doing an awesome job over there. We want to slow it down a bit because I want you to tell the people about you. All right. So why did you get involved with Podium?
Well, I moved to Richmond in 2009, came to VCU, started studying social work and political science. I went to an interest meeting. They said, hey, do you love creative expression? Do you love writing? Do you want to get involved with, the high schools in your local area? I said, yes, let's do it. So I started as an intern. I did 3 years after school at Armstrong High School, which is one of our local high schools.
Okay.
And after that, got my master's in social work and came back as programs director, served there in that role for 5 years. Really working to grow and expand our programs. We now serve annually over 300 young folks every single year.
Wow.
Yeah, and now I'm executive director, so they basically Podium can't get rid of me. It's my family.
All right, so Purpose Empower Nation, you're hearing it. This is the path to purpose, right? And that's what we talk about here. Is that oftentimes the path to purpose, life leaves clues to where you need where you belong and where you need to go. And if you think about what she just said, she had a heart for kids and she volunteered, right? She started out volunteering and then eventually over time became the executive director over the exact same program. That's a powerful story on the path to purpose. Now, I want to go back a bit. I want you to think back in your life. Did you have somebody like you in your life? Did you have a teacher or a mentor that pushed you forward? And if you did, who was that person? What did they do for you?
You know, I've actually thought about that quite a bit, and they were both at my 10th grade, I guess history teacher, and then ironically my 10th grade English teacher. So English, of course, right?
Yeah.
Miss Sherry Stanley. She, really encouraged me to think outside the box. She encouraged me to check out VCU as a school to go to.
Wow.
She supported me when I went to I did a summer governor school program, and she actually, drove out to Richmond, for that program to support me in that. So she's somebody who, really inspired me to get active, get involved, on a political level, on a social justice level. So absolutely.
That's good. So now let's see what we're hearing. We're talking about walking on the path to purpose. And it sounds like Vicki in the 10th grade not only had teachers, but she had mentors because they were pushing her beyond their class and their subject. All right. And so that's the power that you have. That's the power of influence over young minds. And look what happened. Them investing in her in the 10th grade propelled her into years of working with kids, helping them learn the things that she learned in their class. So that becomes what's called a legacy. What she's doing now is because of them. And there were other teachers that helped influence along the way and all those. And so props to teachers. We give teachers a hand. You guys are doing a great job. Look, we're thankful for you because without you, it wouldn't happen. But how important do you feel social justice is to our young people? Are we going to come back to that, Mark? That's a great question. We're going to come back to that. But we want to make sure that we help the kids understand what programs are available for middle schoolers and then answer Mark's question right after that.
Well, I'll go over the programs that are available for all of our kids at one time.
Take your time. We're not rushing. We actually have more time. Yeah, the network was gracious enough to let me know that they want to give us more time. So yeah, take your time.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, for our middle school, our young folks, we've got several different programs, whether it's the teen scene, which is, creative expression, your critical, your academic thinking, really just trying to, take ownership of your voice and, to see that writing is something that you can do for yourself. It's not just like a school homework assignment or maybe even a punishment, which a lot of times you're in middle school, that's kind of what you may associate, writing with, but right. It's for you. It's for your personal expression. It's for your, to reflect, to plan, to think, to grow.
Yeah.
We also do STEAM, called the STEAM Machine. So some STEM-based literacy programs.
Yeah, break down what STEAM means, because that's a new term for a lot of people.
So STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So they add that STEAM in there. You might have heard of STEM before. Right. And so we have the STEAM Machine. And so we do things like science fiction or, emergency planning, like if there's a global pandemic, for example.
Right.
We'll do, space exploration, culinary creations, technology, communication. Wow. There's all kinds of things we explore.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen some amazing things come out of those kids as you've given them the tools to help, do what they're doing. So so answer the social justice question. How important do you think that is?
Social justice is so critically important to our young folks. In fact, earlier this year, we actually partnered with Partnership for the Future. They had a social justice teen conference, and they served, hundreds of young folks. We were so fortunate enough to be able to do a social justice panel with them. Okay. But our young folks, they have, real life experience. They are our future. They know what their wants and what their needs are. They don't need, adults to, they need adults for a lot of things, but sure. They don't necessarily always need adults to get that, their, experience, their purpose out. They just need to help get it out, but right. It's in there,
So let me ask you this question. When it comes to your program, it sounds like there's a curriculum, there's things they have to go through. And do they graduate from your program?
So it's more kind of like they move into well, actually, you know what, we do have a graduation ceremony at the end of the year. So,
Okay,
you
so
know,
then
I guess there is a graduation, but it's more like, you know, from middle school, and then you go to high school, and then of course, you know, we also try to help out our young folks as they graduate. So we do some college career prep, some internships, things like that. So
Mhm.
it's graduation, but it's, if you know, want to use us as a resource, you know, as you're moving into that next stage of young adulthood, I mean, we're still here. We're not going anywhere.
So give us a couple of examples of how you're helping those students prepare that are graduating.
Absolutely. Well, we actually start at the middle school level with a program called Prep Your Next Step. It's a program specifically for eighth graders, help them get ready for high school.
Oh, I
Then
would have
when we're
loved that. Oh my gosh, that'd have been
It's
awesome.
so, yeah, it's fun. It's, you know, hey, what are your goals? What are your expectations? But it's also like, hey, you know, there's specialty schools in Richmond that require applications, references, essays. It's
What?
no joke. 13-year-olds, you know, having the same kind of, you know, standards as like 18-year-olds applying for college. And so we wanted to level the playing field a little bit.
That's good. So now, how can someone reach out about finding out how to start a podium program? What are the steps for that?
That is a beautiful question. And actually, right below me, right here on this screen, you see the words www.podiumrva.org. You can find, first off, publications of our youth work. But if you are interested in requesting a program or figuring out where programs are, we have sections for parents, for community members and partners. Everything you need is on our website.
So then, the people who are watching, then the Purpose and Power Nation, I'm sure at this point they're going, "This is an amazing program." Maybe there's some parents going, "I wish my kids were part of this program." Well, you're located in Richmond, Virginia, so if you're in RVA, you definitely need to check this out, and you need to see that, see what's going on over there. But you also want to be able to have the information necessary to get you to the next steps with your kids, right? So you got to go to Podium RVA and see if you can. Do they qualify? Does it work? Is it something that you can get involved in? But for those who are watching, saying, "Look, I want to be a part of this. Like, this is amazing. This will give my life purpose. How do I help out? How do I get involved? How do I mentor Podium Youth?"
No, I mean, that's a fantastic question. So like I said, we host the Teen Professional Conference every single year. Other things we do, you know, we are looking for people, if you are interested in hosting some of our young folks for maybe a summer internship, or something of that nature. That is another way that we like to help and connect. But of course, you know, we are a nonprofit. And so, you know, getting involved in our campaigns, coming out to our events, you know, being part of the Podium family is really one of the best ways that, you know, if you're looking to make an impact with our young people, you know, be part of the family.
All right. So you said a word, and I heard it when you said it. You said events. Now that's a foreign word for us. For a year, we haven't seen any events really at all happen anywhere like they used to happen. But are there any events coming up that people can participate in? And if so, how can they help out?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Really quick, I want to answer Mark's question. Do you partner with other youth organizations? We absolutely do. YMCA centers, Boys and Girls Clubs, communities and schools here in Richmond, 21st Century Community Learning Centers. So we partner with lots of organizations. But, you know, events. So we're in a virtual world. So what we have coming up is a virtual poetry night. It's National Poetry Month. We're in April, y'all. So it's National Poetry Month. So on April 29th, Thursday, April 29th, at 6:30 p.m., we are hosting a poetry night for alumni, for community members, for everybody to just come together and really share and have a great time.
Poetry night. That sounds interesting. I wonder if I know anybody that writes poetry. Yes, I do. I write poetry. Right? And I have volunteered to come and read one of my poems to in your event. I'm glad that you have a spot for me there. And my poem is a little ditty I like to call "If Black Lives Really Matter." And so that'll be the first time I actually publicly share that poem. I shared a little bit with you the other day. But yeah, that'll be a really good event. And I'd love to talk about, you know, the kids and some of the things that are going to happen at that event. Now, are there going to be winners? Is it a competition, or how's that going to work? Because, you know, I'm competitive. So I don't care if the kids are not. I plan to beat them all. So I just want to know, what am I going to win?
Oh, okay. So we're not. So this is just a poetry mic, open mic night.
Oh,
So no slam poetry competitions or
so
anything like
you just
that.
want to get some clicks then. That's
For claps and snaps, so encouragement and support, because we're going to have all kinds of, if it, maybe it's your very first time, getting together to share a poem. Maybe, you're like Stephen, you've written, volumes of poetry and novels and things like that. And
that's right.
you're ready to go out, but maybe you just like poetry a lot. You just want to come here and listen.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody to do.
All right. So then for those who want to watch it, want to be a part of it, how do they get the link and how do they become a part of that again?
So that's a great question as well. So go to www.podiumrva.org/events, and the registration link's right there.
Well, Sandra Lucky said that's a great program. Thank you, Sandra, for saying that. They're doing amazing work over at Podium RVA. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are with Vicky Yorian. Is it Yorian?
Yorian. That was pretty close. Pretty close.
All right. Executive Director for Podium RVA. Shout out to all of Podium staff and parents and students. You guys are making impact in the world, and we're looking for you guys to make even greater impact with the competition that's coming up. I might announce a winner or winners. So we'll see what's going on with that. But is Podium hosting any campaigns that you need funding or supplies or anything like that?
So actually the poetry night is part of our National Poetry Month campaign. So we are looking to raise $2,000.
$2,000.
Well, we do what now?
That's not enough.
Listen, we break up each campaigns. We haven't even talked about June yet. We're hosting a virtual spelling bee. So I just want you to know, thinking about competition. So this is just this month's campaign goal.
All right, well, look, all I got to say is the Purpose Empower Nation need to write some checks, and they can do more than $2,000. I'm expecting for another couple of zeros to be thrown on the back of that number. You guys make sure you support Podium RVA. This is for the kids, people. Stop eating all them burgers and fast food and get that money to the kids. All right, here we go. Let's get back into it. All right, so anyway, you said you have multiple events. So you got that event, then you have a virtual spelling bee. You said it's coming up. All that information is on the website.
So the spelling bee, we are launching the spelling bee website page next week. So we're in the process of just making sure all the buttons click, all the tickets. But yeah, you can have teams of 2 or teams of 3. Right. So all duos will compete against each other. All trios will compete against each other. And yes, we will have prizes for the top speller. We'll have 15 lightning rounds of spelling.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Well, look, we already got the money kicking off. Sadia Walker Douglas has committed to giving $250 to the campaign. That is amazing.
Wonderful. That is amazing.
All right. Purpose Empower Nation, matching grant. You got to step up. Who's going to be the next giver? We want to go ahead and hit her number before we get off the air tonight. PodiumRVA.org. Put in the chat exactly the amount that you're going to give. Do you have a Cash App or anything like that you want to use? Now, I want to say Sadia Walker Douglas, she is a business owner right here in Richmond, Virginia. She owns Prosperity Financial Services, and she stepped up tonight for the kids. I want to challenge other companies to do the exact same thing. Put in the chat how much you want to give. Let me ask you again, do you have a Cash App or PayPal, a way for people to give right now if they want to give? Or how do people give?
No, so I wish we had a Cash App. I've thought about that a lot, and I'm just a little behind the times. But again, you go to podiumrva.org/donate. That page is right there. You can put all your information, click the button, and really support our young folks. I'm just so appreciative, Stephen. Thank you. And Sadia, thank you so very much.
Come on, our people care. The Purpose Empower Nation, they care about purpose, and you are helping kids find their purpose and get their power back so they can live a better life. That's what this whole thing's all about. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, when I heard your story, and we have a mutual friend, Jerry Howard, when he told me about who you guys were and I met you, I just fell in love with the whole program because I wish I had something like that in my life. You heard a little bit about my story when you were backstage, to have someone who would take the time to look at my unique giftings, but also to say, look, you can use them in this way. I wrote my first book in elementary school. In elementary school, I wrote my first book and I animated it. I drew the characters and wrote the story. It was called Shades of Sleepy Hollow. And I remember the book. And do you know what? After I wrote that book, I didn't have anyone else propelling me into purpose, pushing that out further. I have people saying, teachers that were saying, this is great. Wow, you're talented. You can write, you can draw. It's awesome. But beyond that, there was nothing there was no writing programs. There was no pushing me. And I think a program like yours, kids can get in there and really excel and do great. And I think that's something that you guys are already doing. So kudos to you. Good job on that. So are there other ways that people can support you? Cash is good. Always cash is king. But do you need supplies, or do you need any, support for the kids? Like if the kids need book bags or stuff for them, is there a way for us to give that as well?
Actually, we one thing that we are looking to do for our young folks is since we have not been able to see them in literally at this point over a year in person, we are trying to welcome back our young folks not only with school kits, but also with a printed journal. So they can see their work published, not just on a PDF or on the screen on the computer, but actually in their hands. Take that with them. And one of our alumni, actually, you met Justin. He did a TED Talk a couple of years back, and I will tell you, in that TED Talk, he pulls out a Podium journal where he's published and says, "Hey, this is my inspiration." So I know the importance of a physical journal to say, "Hey, this is something that I'm a part of. This is me." So we are looking to get that printed. So that's something we could use some help with too.
That's awesome. And there are print shops right here in Richmond, Virginia. And it doesn't, I guess if it's printing, it can be done anywhere. You guys can send them the files and they can do them. So if you guys know someone has a printing shop, if you know the owner, just let them know what's happening over at podiumrva.org, and they can be a part of the success of our kids right here in our own city. We've actually had people already giving. And so I don't know if you saw, but there was people who are already saying they're giving more money behind the scenes. So things are already happening. We're thankful for every one of the Purpose Empowered Nation that's stepping up and that they're giving to a great and worthy cause. Of course, that means our kids are our future. So if you're driving around town and you're complaining about how kids are acting and what they're doing, this is the way you can make change for the future. When you sow into Podium RVA, when you give into Podium RVA, you're giving into the future of those who will be the next leaders in the city. So make sure that you do your job and you invest where it makes sense. You don't need to go on another $15,000 vacation. You don't need another $10,000 diamond on your hand. I mean, come on, we got to have the right priorities out here, and let's give. And the thing about the Purpose Empowered Nation, we give. That's what we do. It's a part of what we do is we support our own community. So we're so thankful for that. And so if somebody wanted to contact you, how would they contact you and connect with you with Podium now?
So of course there's a contact button right on the website. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to change my name here on the screen. And so you can see just right here, this is my email address. So if you want to connect with me directly, please just reach out. Vicky.Uroyan, my first and last name at podiumrva.org, of course. Okay.
Well, and you're also a writer. Is that true? You're a writer?
I write. There's a lot of writers out there. I don't want to.
Yeah, but you're a writer though. Do you write poetry?
I do write my poetry on my own. I write some short stories on my own, but there are lots of levels of writers out there. I want to be respectful.
It's all good. Everybody's on the level. As long as we're on the ladder, everybody's on the same ladder to different levels. It doesn't matter. We're all gonna get there together. Now, Mark Lee wants to hear some of your work. Do you got a poem? Do you got something that you can share with the people? If you don't, it's okay. You're not prepared. But do you have something that you can share with the people?
On the spot. I mean, I'm on my work computer, so I'm so sorry. My personal files aren't on this piece of technology.
That's okay. Hey, this is what I want you to do. We're Facebook friends, right? So I would love for you to give them a link and put that in the post that I have on my Facebook page. That way they can click that, and you can even just paste the poem right there if you want. You can just share it right there. That would be an awesome way to do that. They can see and hear your work. It would be awesome for them to hear your heart too. So I spoke for about 45 minutes before I even brought you on, and I feel so bad about that. So I'm going to give you the next 45 minutes just for yourself. I'm not going to say another word. It's all yours.
Just the next. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Ooh, you just froze. You like a deer.
Throwing me for a loop on that. We didn't talk about that now, Stephen. Now I can take a 45 minutes. but we need to prepare for that.
That's right, 45 minutes. But no, in closing, I just want you to wrap this thing up and put a nice little bow on it. Speak to the people and the parents that are out there that have kids that they may be struggling in this particular subject, reading and writing and that kind of thing. And those who want to help out, just, sum it up for us and give them a little information that can help them out.
Listen, if you are having a rough time, a difficult time right now, I mean, writing is something that it's a tool that you can use for you to take ownership of your narrative, of your story, of your perspective. And so I encourage you, even if it's only like 2 or 3 minutes a day, just take some time to jot something down for yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? Whether it's a note of affirmation that says you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are strong, you are intelligent, you are passionate, right? Whether it's, hey, Vic, you got to go to the grocery store today. Don't forget, or whether it's, maybe, it's a creative piece that just came to you. Just if you can prioritize, carve out that personal time just for yourself, even if it's only 5 minutes. And I'll say that writing for you, it really has changed. It's changed so much about, me just being able to process, being able to just handle my stress and anxiety. So that's a tip I have, is just even if it's only 5 minutes, just take a moment to write something just for you.
All right. That is awesome. Purpose and Power Nation. I mean, this is just amazing. I'm glad we're able to have Vicki on the show. And Vicki, I just had a thought, and it's something I probably should have asked before, but I just want to, is there a kid that stands out to you that has come through this program, that have come through Podium RVA, that has stood out to you, and tell us what you saw and what you believe happened in that child's life because of the program?
Well, I've been with Podium for a long time, so having me pick just one individual is a really difficult challenge.
A recent one, I guess.
Recent individual. So I'll tell you, I am just so proud, and I hope that Destiny doesn't yell at me for this, but we have had a student who was with us, all 4 years of their college career. I mean, of their high school career. When they were in college, reached out to me, hey, Vicki, can I, I'm looking for an internship. I'd love to give back, and actually ran the program at her alma mater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I was so proud. But now she is graduating next month from UVA.
Okay.
And she has also, in the summers come back to help us host our teen professional. She has our teen professional conference. She has been a guest at our RVA Celebrity Dish, which is another event we're having in October. We didn't even talk about, but we'll talk about another time.
Yeah.
But she is so incredible, so passionate, so caring. And she gives so much to her community, and I'm just so proud of her and all the work that she has put in, not only for her own academic success and achievement, but just coming back to be a mentor, to go back to her alma mater, to run the after school program, to come, be a host at the teen conference.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real dedication, that's real heart and commitment. And so I'm so proud of Destiny.
Wow.
And I'm proud that she's graduating next month.
That's amazing. Good job, Destiny. You're doing awesome. We're proud of you. And listen to her name. It's Destiny. And that's what we're talking about. Power, to get your power to walk in your purpose, sends you right into your destiny. And it's not just about you. It's about those that you can help. That's what we've been talking about this whole show, is how do you learn what you need to learn to be the best you can be, and then give to those who don't have, to help them do the same thing so they can repeat. Just like what happened with Vicki, happened with Destiny. And it continues. And I told you about those who were behind me to help me push forward into my purpose and push past my pain, all of my problems. There's a bunch of P words, but I'm not going to say them all. But to walk in purpose and power, all you have to do is listen to what we're saying. You have to get activated. You have to put some action into what you believe can help others, and you will be helped yourself. That's the whole thing. So look, we're happy to have Vicki on the show. Vicki, you did a great job. You're an awesome person, and we thank you for blessing the Purpose and Power Nation with all this powerful information for our youth. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And any opportunity where we can get together and, raise support for our young folks is well worth it to me. So I'm so appreciative.
is well worth it. Matter of fact, I'm going to put an ad on my web page. It's mypurposemypower.com. I'm going to put an ad for Podium on my web page for people to donate to you guys. So look out for that on mypurposemypower.com, people. That's one way you connect. I might even put Vicky's poem up there as well that she's going to give us. So I'm looking forward to getting that. But look, we are a little bit past time, but we're thankful that you stayed with us. If you stay with us, please share this information, share this out to those people who can get inspired by it. Even if you don't have Podium RVA in your area, or maybe you're watching and you're in another state, seek out other programs like it. Matter of fact, call Podium RVA right here in Richmond, Virginia, and ask them, do they know of programs in your area? Maybe you can even start one where you are. If you're here in Virginia and you don't have one in your school or at your college, you should get involved and connect with Vicky, and she can definitely help you do that. Look, Purpose and Power Nation, we love you. We care about you. And we want to empower you to be the best you can be. And we will see you next week on our next show. God bless.